Good morning and welcome. And if you know me, follow me, you'll know that I always poil Santa or sage. And it's just, it's when you're working with spirit, divination, it's just clearing your space and, calling in the highest love and light. Because like everything, there's two sides, there's dark and light. And you may have heard me speak about this, especially on the spiritual path, We start opening ourselves up to, what we can't see. That's part of this path. But I'm not here to talk about spiritual awakening this morning. Automatic writing's been flowing this morning, so my creativity is bursting. I was also drawn to this card in my When Women Had Wings deck. And horse. So, of course, I'm a poet and I know it. So, horse, fire horse. We're all going into the fire horse, 17th of February. So you may have been feeling, I know I have, quite intense energy, quite anxious and like you're in a void. You can feel something coming, but it's not quite here. Preparation. The energy is pretty intense at the minute. For myself it is. I can't speak for others, but for myself it is. And as a, light worker, light shower, I can also pick up off the collective energy. And can feel. And just by my customers coming to see me, I can see the anxiety in them. The energy is pretty intense. I'd say devil energy. Yeah. That doesn't mean the devil is self. That just means pretty intense and hardcore, Trying to knock us off. I was going to say perch then. Don't know why I was going to say perch. Trying to knock us off a bit, I'll get into the automatic writing and we'll just see what the cards flow. I've already been drawn to the cards that I'm using. That's just another way that I channel also, as well as automatic write before I come on, and then Spirit will just channel through me as we go along. So 2025 was the year of the snake. So, a lot of shedding, old patterns, traumas, inner child stuff, shadow work, a lot of this energy. A lot of Ten of Swords energy. Very, very intense year. And everyone I've spoken to also was like, I can't wait to see the back of 2025. And I was like, yeah, me too. It's probably one of the worst years I've had. During my spiritual awakening. And I've been spiritually awake now for about over 7 years now. But I can honestly say 2025, year of the snake. A lot of shedding. I was going into my mother wounds, my father wounds, shadow. I was going into things that I'd already gone into. I was revisiting old wounds, that I thought I'd healed. There was a lot of introspection, purging. Year 25, well, 2025 for us all was about shedding, and there was a lot of this also. I know that I was in this energy. I was in deep introspection. In fact, it did feel like a long winter. And also, I can't pick the cards off my table. Also, pushing through more burdens, the wounds, the traumas, pushing them up that mountain. There was a lot. It was probably one of the most intense years I've had since waking up. It really was. There was a lot of purging, cleansing, clearing, detoxing, a lot of going back into these swords again to, you know, face this devil energy. Yeah, I actually thought I was having another death in a rebirth. I actually thought, is this happening again? Yeah, it possibly was. You know, you can have more than one. So, yeah, I possibly did go back into a lot of that devil energy, you know, a lot of isolation. But, yeah, so if you've been feeling ungrounded, a bit anxious, restless, like you're in a void, you know, like you're in this, but not as intense as a dark night. This is how it felt for me. I can't speak for others, but this is how it felt for me. It was like I was in a dark night of the soul, but it wasn't as intense. You know, because once you've been in your dark night of the soul, once you come out of it, personally for me, I won't feel that energy again. You know, because I've managed to transmute it. I've managed to alchemize, you know, that dark devil energy in the dark night. I've managed to go into the dark places, you know, of my psyche, been there. Yeah, it wasn't as intense, but it was still intense, not gonna lie. It was the year that I lost my mum, you know, and I also knew, the medium in me knew for quite a long time, 2025 was the year I would be saying goodbye to my mum. Knew that long time. My mum also knew that I knew that also. So yeah, a lot of hermit energy also. I'm struggling getting these cards off my table. A lot of the hermit energy. I can get it. Hermit really wants to sleep. You know, I just wanted to sleep. I was exhausted. I did want to just rest a lot, you know. The energies was catching up, all the integration work I'd done, you know, by going into these 10 swords. The energies were catching up, you know, because when you do energy work, it doesn't always integrate at that point, you know. So there was balancing on, you know, balancing the scales going on. Yeah. There was a lot of rest as well for me, you know. And I did feel this energy, and I still feel this energy now. And I've spoken about feeling the energy of 2026 in 2025, the later parts of 2025. It was like I was behind these wands, but I just couldn't quite come out of them yet. Wasn't ready. I still had, you know, work to do. Still had a few more burdens to push through, a few more wounds to revisit, traumas to heal. But yeah, I feel like I'm in this energy going into the firehorse. You know, these last few weeks we're heading into the firehorse. So it's the last few weeks of purging and clearing out anything that we don't want to hold on to, you know, and then that will set us up for, yeah, the firehorse, you know. But yeah, I feel like I'm in this energy. So done all these years of healing, you know, my spiritual awakening path. Come out of this dark winter, the dark night, you know, took these 10 of swords off me. You know, I'm not this fallen angel anymore now. I'm actually standing. You know, at one point, especially in the dark night, I was this fallen angel. Didn't have my wings at that point, but they told me I've gained my wings now. That was because, you know, of pushing through these burdens, pushing up this mountain. You know, very, very cold, isolating, lonely mountain. Yeah? But this is the energy of feeling. Like, I'm just not quite there yet. You know? There's still some shedding. Yeah, shedding, they're saying. And this is these next few weeks. They want us to use these next, you know, these weeks heading into the firehorse. On the 17th, I believe it is. 17th. Yeah. It's about shedding more that we don't want to take with us into 2026. and you know, yeah, it's about balancing out more inside us, going back inside for a while, and introspection, healing, you know, more of that. You know, when you should start spiritually awakening, it's a constant, you know, you have to keep going forward, you know, Chariot, you've got to keep going forward on this spiritual awakening path, this fool's journey, you know, and then that eventually brings us to our light, but you've got to keep turning this wheel, you know, forward momentum. Don't want us to stall out the saying, no stalling. They know we are tired, they know that. They know we're exhausted, you know, from 2025. They know that. It was all preparation, it's getting us ready. But we can't stall, we've got to keep turning this wheel. No matter how tired we get, we have to keep turning this wheel. We have to keep moving forward, they're saying. They know how tired we are. They know that, you know, they're always there, constant. You know, this heaven and earth, you know, earth and heaven, the connection. They're all around us, you know, our angels, our spirit guides, all around us. But, you know, this spiritual awakening we go on, and this balancing out the divine feminine, divine masculine energy, then that brings us into awareness that we are human and divine, you know, that we do hold the key to our human self and our divine self, you know. It brings us into that awareness that we hold all that inside of us, because we balance the scales, you know, we balance the divine feminine, divine masculine energy out, and that's the key. You know, we all hold this energy inside of us, but we have to do this work, we have to go on this journey, we have to face the devil energy, we have to find our strength, you know, we have to go through that death and rebirth. We have to keep, you know, pushing that way. We have to keep going forward, pushing up this mountain. That is when we truly find the divine in self, you know, that we can call in our angels. You know, we are divine. We some of us are angels, you know, earth angels. They've told me I'm an earth angel. I was planted here in disguise at first. Now is the time that I can show my wings, and I've earned my wings back, you know. Now is the time that I can show others my wings. But yeah, we all, you know, hold the human and the divine in us. We are the breach, they're saying. But first, we have to do that work. I'll get back to the automatic writing. So, yeah, if you've been feeling anxious, restless, in a void, that's all normal, they're saying. Perfectly normal. You're going through major energetic shifts. There's a lot happening on our planet. A lot happening in the collective, you know. It's major. It's a global awakening. It's huge, you know. So don't take that. Don't underestimate what's happening. Be kind to yourself, you know. Bring that compassion, that love to yourself, that rest to yourself. If you need to go into hermit, go into hermit. If you need to create, you know. Do whatever it takes for you to, yeah, keep moving that wheel, you know, forward. Yeah, shift is coming. So it's the last remnants of shedding what you didn't manage to shed in 2025. Closure, yeah, it's preparing for new energetic cycles. So it's the year of the firehorse, and it's a 1 year also, you know. It's the beginning of a new year, a 9-year cycle. It's very fast moving, you know. Wild horses, I was getting that song, Wild Horses, couldn't even keep us down. It's off that film. I don't know if you've watched it or not, but Wild Horses, I love the film, but it's, you know, wild horses couldn't even keep us back, you know. Yeah, wild horses are not meant to be tamed. They're meant to be free. They're meant to, you know, run wild. I'm not saying we all go running wild, you know, but yeah, freedom, leadership, all of that. This is the year of 2026. It's getting us ready for it. So it's shedding the what we no longer need, you know, those last remnants of what we couldn't shift in 2025, probably due to the exhaustion of the year, You know, I know myself, I had to rest. I had to go into deep rest. I had to. I'd lost my mother also at the back end of it. And, you know, being an energy healer and medium and picking up the collective energy, it's exhausting. You know, this path is exhausting. I will not sugarcoat it. You have to have strength in abundance. You've got to have, you know, that lion strength. You have to, because it can, yeah, it's exhausting. It can put you in a sleep. A long sleep, you know, and we don't want to go back to sleep the same. We've just woken up, you know, so they know how exhausting it is. But this is it's the last, you know, the last remnants of what we need to shed in the year of the snake. So yeah, they're saying the energy pretty heavy is an understatement. And they're saying, have you felt the need to declutter your space? I know I have. That was the first thing that I wanted to do, is declutter. You know, that's part of the energy. When I declutter my space, I declutter my mind, I declutter my energy body. You know, if I have a cluttered space and I have things around me that are gathering dust and, you know, all of that, yeah, my energy can't flow as much as I'd like it to. I need my environment. This is what I spoke about before. The environment in which you surround yourself with is so important, especially when you start feeling the energy, you know. I'm a feeler, I feel energy. So I woke up over 7 years ago, I started feeling my energy. Then I started to feel others' energy. And then I thought, what the bloody hell's going on here? Right, and then yeah, long story short, it was setting me on my path to become the healer I am, to, you know, share my sacred knowledge from all the years of healing they've put me through, you know, because it feels like initiations, you know, that you get and test from spirit, and they're doing that for you because what they're doing is they're building you up so strong. So strong. So they're getting you ready for leadership. You know, they're getting you ready for this King of Wands energy. Leadership, authority, taking control, standing on your own 2 feet, not listening to others, you know. And on this path you have to drown out everybody else. If you're a spirit medium, you know, if you've got connection to spirit, you have to drown out everybody else. That goes for family, friends, because you know, when you are divinely guided and you have your spirit team around you daily, guiding you every step of the way, the angelic realm, you know you are human and divine, and you know that because there's no way of not knowing it. You know, I tried not knowing it. I'll be honest, I really did, because I thought, wow, I can't go into this death and rebirth. I can't do it. I'm just exhausted. You know, from life in general. But when you wake up, this is what you're looking for. You're looking for that human and divine connection. You know, the earth to spirit connection. We all hold this inside us. And yeah, the time is now. It's coming out and resurfacing. So yeah, they're saying wild horses, you know, they need to run free. Untamed, it's fast energy, and I can feel the energy revving up, you know. I'm getting my energy back a little bit now. I don't know if that's because my little lunar moon's come to me. I've got a little 4-legged companion again now. She's only 9 weeks, and my spirit guides and my angels told me, we've sent Luna to you. Now, you know, we all know that animals, the pure energy, they're not weighed down with you know, this devil energy that humans have. They haven't got these 10 of swords on them. The pure energy, the light, you know. Yeah, I think it's something to do with my little lunar moon who's picking my energy up. You know, she doesn't leave me. She's laid on my feet now. She's like Ugg slippers, you know. I don't need my slippers anymore because she's so fluffy. She just keeps my feet warm. But she's helping me, you know, on my path. And that unconditional love that animals give, you know, she's the same, because I give that unconditional love out. It's about time I received it. Yeah, I agree with Spirit. You know, everybody needs to feel loved, you know. And on my path, I've had a lot of judgment, too much judgment, but that's the world we live in. We do live in a judgmental world, and people that don't understand this path, they tend to judge it. I completely get that. Completely, and I'd never judge people for judging me. It's just not my nature, because I understand what a strange path it is. But if you hear Spirit and you feel Spirit, and you know, some people see Spirit, that's their path. Nobody has the right to judge what another person's path is. Nobody. And this is the devil energy I talk about. You know, things on this path, you get obstacles thrown in your way to knock you off your path, you know. If you hold that much light inside of you, there's also dark, you know. So when you go beyond this realm, you are open to that also. You know, it's all true. I've experienced both sides of it. I experienced the dark and the light. But, you know, I feel like I've got this balance now. And I protect myself also. Very, very, very protected by the angelic realm also. You know? And that's not an ego thing. That's because I've done the work. I've earned this, they keep saying. I've earned the protection. And because I am then, they're saying, I am an earth angel. I'll be in a human body. But this is why I'm here, you know, at this timeline. To voice all what I've gone through, and to help others on their spiritual awakening path, and to wake others up also. I know I wake people up. I'm meant to. I've woke my entire family up and my friends. Some kicking and screaming. Well, most of them kicking and screaming, just like I was. Because I didn't want to wake up. I will be honest with you. It's a very, very hard path. It's very lonely, isolating. But it's got some beautiful parts to it also. And what it's doing is it's bringing that strength back to you. It's bringing the authenticity, you know, of your soul back to you. It's bringing your soul back to you, not the authenticity of your soul. It's bringing your soul back to you, you know, the truth of who we really are, the human and the divine in us. It's bringing all this knowledge back to us, what's been hidden from us. Why? It's very, very powerful knowledge. And if we hold this inside us, then we need not go outside of ourselves to you know, seek this knowledge. So there's no need then for control, patriarchy, hierarchy. There's no need for that. If every one of us on earth know that we are the kingdom of God, we hold this inside us, we hold this light inside us, we are human and we are divine. And I can certainly say that now. 7 years ago, I couldn't. I didn't know I was divine. I didn't know I had these gifts inside of me. I didn't know I'd be helping others. I didn't know I'd found my angel wings and they'd tell me I wasn't an earth angel. I didn't know any of that until I started balancing, you know, these scales out, and I started pushing through these burdens. And I went through the seven gates of heaven healing, which is the 7 stages of the awakening. I've always mentioned 7, and my life path number is 7. But the 7 stages of awakening, I've always known that. But recently, it's just come into my knowledge that the 7 gates of heaven, Mary Magdalene, you know, if you follow me, you'll also know that Mary Magdalene channels through me, not just the angelic realm, not just the higher, other higher divine masters, you know, not just that, because we are multidimensional. We're not just one. So we have many, you know, past lives and lifetimes here. So let's get back to the automatic writing, but get the channeling right through me now. But that's how it works, you know. When you're a channeler, you have to just be open and to let it flow. The want us in that flow state. When we are in that flow state, there's no resistance, you know. We can walk our path with truth, you know. And no matter what people throw at us, no matter what judgments come our way, no matter what doubts from others because they are not awake, it does not matter. You stand in your strength, you know, you know who you are. Doesn't matter. You get to a point on this journey where nothing what anyone says does not faze you, because you know you're this, you know, you've got wings. I came across this a few years ago. They told me to, you know, get it, so I did. I speak about wings, and I know why I speak about wings now, because they've told me that I have wings. You know, we have wings. We all have wings. It's just we've got to take this journey to find our wings. Take a breath. Yeah, ground. They're saying ground in this energy also, because it's very, very, you know, high energy, very high. She probably can hear me. So yeah, they're saying it's the trot before the gallop, you know, so it's getting us ready. It's preparation for this fast moving energy, and this energy calls for us to be more authentic and to take action. You know, so yeah, momentum, keep that momentum going. They want us to, they know how tired we are. I've repeated this, but they know how exhausting it is. But they want us to keep this momentum up, you know. Some of us were at that, like myself, I'm at this point here. This is why this card speaks to me. I'm at this point here because I woke up over 7 years ago, so I've done this journey. That's why I speak about it. That's why I have the knowledge of this journey, you know, and yeah, hold the key to helping others on this journey. And that's not an ego thing, because you heal, you balance the ego out on this journey. It's a knowing, you know, when you know, you know. But I'm at this point where I feel this momentum, you know, I've got to keep this momentum going. Sometimes I feel like I could just go to bed and just sleep for hours, you know, because it's heavy energy. But then this morning, this channeling came through, and yeah, I've got a little pooch, and yes, she's taking all my time up, but I have to work around that, because I haven't done 7-8 years of healing to not keep this momentum up, you know. There's been many times I've had to rest, recoup, come back to myself, take time out, and then the momentum starts again, you know. There's been many times on that. You do need to rest on this journey. The same we do. We need to integrate that energy that's come before. But I'm at this point. There's this lady here. She knows. She's at that finish line. She's coming through these wands. She's getting ready for the ultimate show, you know. She's getting ready for this leadership. They keep saying, I'm stepping into my true authenticity this year, becoming the King of Wands. I'm ready to lead now, not just, you know, poking out. I'm ready to lead in 2026, but I'm still here at this present. These next week, or next week and a half, whatever days we've got left till we come into the firehorse, I'm still at this energy. I'm just getting ready to come out behind these wands. Then that's what's going to emerge, you know. I'll also go for the feminine also, because yeah, the masculine and the feminine. I'm going to stand in my truth, my authenticity, my divine masculine, my divine feminine. I'm standing in that this year. No matter what comes my way, disbelief, I don't care. I'm helping the ones I'm meant to be helping. The others, that's fine. If they're not ready to wake, they're not ready to wake. I'm not going to judge anybody. But I will be standing in my true authenticity, because I've done this journey. But at present, I'm here. I'll admit it. I'm still poking out, you know, I'm just getting ready. So this is me shedding the last of my skin from 2025, the year of the snake. to fully stand in my truth, to fully lead, they're saying. They've been preparing me for leadership all these years of healing and spiritual awakening and initiations and tests and judgment and all of that. They've been preparing me to stand in complete harmonic balance, you know, of the divine feminine and the divine masculine, to lead others in this new golden age. Yeah, so I cannot now, at this last hurdle, stop this momentum. I've got to keep it going. And I think that is, well, I know that's why they sent Luna to me, because they knew how exhausted I was and how lonely also, although I'm surrounded by family and friends, and I live in a house full of, you know, I live in a house full of males, barring my son's girlfriend. Again, it's very lonely path, because only you know what you're experiencing. I can't speak of my path to my partner and my family and my friends, because they just look at me like I've got 10 heads, you know. They'll be like, what are you on about? They do know who I am. They do know the changes they've seen in me. They know that I'm better for these changes also. It's not all this devil energy. There's light on this path. And they do know how strong I am now, you know. They know that, yeah, nothing can knock me back. They know. They've seen me, you know, transform on this journey. They know that. They know their opinions don't matter to me. That's not an ego thing, and that's not because I don't care what their opinions, you know, are. I do care about their opinions, but I also know my truth. And that has to come first, because the mission has to come first. I've done this journey, lots of years of healing, to find my light, to find my angel wings, so I can help others to find their light and to find their angel wings, and to stand in their divine feminine and their divine masculine, and then ultimately find the human and the divine in themselves. Yeah, I've done this journey, know what it's about. And, you know, so I'll get back to the automatic writing. I'll ground again. Ground, the saying, yeah, ground. Please ground. It's so important. Walk in nature. You know, get around the trees, go for a nice walk. Yeah, just do things that uplift you, you know, that. And if you need to rest, and that, if that means having a few hours during the day, if you are able to do that, do that. It's very high energy we're heading into. They're getting us ready to live in our authenticity. You know, and the falseness will fall away. It has to. So if the foundation has cracks, it's going to be exposed. So if you've got anything that needs exposing, any truths, anything like that, it's going to be exposed. And on the other side, if your life is aligned, it's going to feel easy and in flow. Yeah, so if you've done the work and you are aligned, you know, on your path, and you're balanced, and you've got to a point of, you know who you are, you know what this path is, you know, and you're creating forward momentum, you know, you keep turning that wheel. Yeah, you're aligned, you're gonna flow easier. And yeah, you know, although I get exhausted, because I feel energy, you know, as an energy healer, you do, and I do Reiki sessions also. So, you know, yesterday I had a Reiki session, and there was very heavy energy, you know, that comes through. I have to protect myself, so it's all about protection as well on this path. That's probably one of the most important things on this path, if I'm going to be honest, that I've learned. At first, wasn't so thingy on the protection part, but since going through this journey, yeah, I protect myself. I protect myself with crystals. I protect myself with cleansing my environment, Palo Santo, sage. You know, I bring things in that protects my home, because I work from home. So, you know, I don't want to bring any negative energy into my space. It has to be free from lower energies, you know, otherwise I'll absorb it. You know, I can absorb energies from people, environments, all of that. Yeah, I have to daily cleanse, you know, and Palo Santo myself daily. Yeah, I do. First thing I do in the morning is I get my Palo Santo out and a sage. And after Reiki sessions also, and I cut the cord, you know, cut that energetic connection between me and my customer. Do that all the time. It's very, very important to protect yourself. So they're saying, so how do we navigate through this energy? Wisdom. Use your wisdom. So think before acting on something. You know, take that time to think. Ground is what I wrote. Can't stress grounding enough. Please ground, because the energy is high, so it can, you know, it can take you up a little bit. You know, we need to be grounded. We need the both. You know, we are human, divine, but we need to be grounded. That's another thing I learned on this path. Grounding, so important. Yeah, they're saying you can feel quite high, you know, with this energy. And bringing, yeah, flow, just what I've been speaking about, water element, keeping flow, you know, rather than stop. So, yeah, keep that wheel turning. That's your flow state, rather than stop. They don't want us stopping. We can rest, of course we can rest. We can have a few hours rest here and there, but they want us to keep this momentum going. Why? Because that's what's going to keep us moving forward, you know. If we stop altogether and we think, I've had enough of this, can't do it anymore, which I've had many times like that throughout all the years of awakening. Yeah, they don't want that for us. Not in the year of the horse. They want us to use this energy. You know, wild horses, be free, untamed. They want us to, yeah, hit the ground running, they're saying. So, yeah, so it's bringing in leadership, independence, you know, standing in your own truth. That's what it's getting us ready for. And I spoke about this in 2025. Why? Well, I'm a seer, so I can see things before they come. Precognition, clairaudience, clairsentience, all of that. Why? I've got all these gifts back because I've done this healing, this journey, you know. So I've retained that divine back to myself, you know, those divine gifts. We've retained all that. But we are also human, you know, so we need to ground. We can be in the divine, spiritual connection, but we also need that grounding. We need the two, you know, just like the divine feminine, divine masculine. We need the two for complete balance, you know, these scales. We need the two. That's what will get us through. And I think I'm a poet today. I say it. And I used to be a poet, actually. I used to write poetry when I was a child. Now I channel. So yeah, you know, your gifts that you have as children, just getting off this track. There's usually gifts that, you know, when the gifts that I've had as a child, when I started healing and doing, you know, on this spiritual awakening, I started writing again, and I'd not wrote for years and years. And I was writing, but in a different form, you know, I was channeling. So storytelling also, I used to write many stories. So these channels that I do, they come out as stories. Music as a child, I used to dance to escape things that, you know, wasn't very pleasant as a child. So that was my escape. You know, I started dancing again. My inner child's returned actually on this path. And that's part of it. But you know, first you go into the inner child to heal it, you know, all the wounds and traumas that you felt there. But yeah, what I've noticed is that the gifts I had as a child is pretty similar to the gifts I've returned to myself through this healing, you know, the divine in me, you know, also the human in me, they're saying, you know, because yeah, Just thought I'd say that. So yeah, so they're saying, yeah, they're getting us ready, you know. We're shedding just that last parts of ourselves, heading into this firehorse. And we must take rest because it's high octane energy, you don't say. I think I'm feeling it now, you know, it's getting me revved up to come out of these ones once and for all. There'll be no more holding me back. I'll be like that wild horse, you know, I'll be running free. I'll be independent, getting ready for leadership. I'll be a leader, you know, in the field that I've healed myself. You can't guard or help others if you have not done this journey yourself. You can't. It's impossible. So I knew years back that was getting me ready for something bigger, you know, and I also knew it was my twin flame mission. How you know that? It's a knowing. You know you're guarded when you're guarded. You know that you're connected to spirit when you're connected to spirit. Dreams, visions, cloud, you know, all of that. Yeah, it's a knowing. But you must take rest, they're saying, and routine, so important. Yeah, this is why Lunar Moon got sent to me, because I was out of my routine. I was just drifting, and they want me grounded, and they want me in a routine. They want me up every morning, you know, because I was going to bed at 4 in the morning, and waking up at 1 in the afternoon. This was for many, many weeks, and all of a sudden my son just turned around and said, I want a dog. And then he put it into place that he got this dog, and within 2 days Luna was with us. And just before Luna came to us, I did this meditation like I do every morning. Take time out to meditate, because that's the early morning is the you can connect with spirit more, you know. They can get full, and last thing at night, there's that connection there. It's just when everything's settling, there's more of a free flowing connection. I feel, can't speak for others, but I feel that I'm more receptive to spirit. Yeah, they want me up. They want me responsible for Luna, you know. They want me in routine. They want me to do all of that. They want me to keep this wheel turning, this momentum that I've created for the last 7 to 8 years now. You know, we're going into probably the 8th year, 2026 is. I've created that momentum. I've kept going, even though there's been times I've just wanted to sleep for many, many hours. I'm not gonna lie. I've kept moving forward. And they're saying this is the year not to stall. We have to keep moving forward. We've come too far. We've come through too much, you know, to stall. Yeah, getting us ready for leadership. Routine, they're saying it's a must. Yeah, keeping the now and ground. And that was the last of the automatic writing that came out. So it's 40 minutes now. It's gone on a bit longer, but yeah, all of that what I've just said is heading our way. So I'm going to be coming online also, and I'm going to do my usual Reiki and my light language transmissions to get us ready. You know, release more of the year of the snake, what we don't need to hold on to, and just to give us that, you know, that reboot. Getting ready for the firehorse, which this year is going to be interesting. Hard work, but you know. Life is, isn't it? Let's face it. But we have angels and spirit team all around us. Can't stress that enough. So if things get really, really tough for you, and I know they will because I've done this journey. I've done a twin flame journey. Not everybody does that, you know, and it's probably one of the hardest. It's people in the community say it's the hardest of spiritual awakenings. Yeah. You're connected to another, so you have all that going on, you know. You are the same. You're the same soul, but you're two bodies. So you've got this constant, and you've got this connection that goes through ups and downs, as well as dealing with all this, you know, coming in from spirit, initiations, tests, and yeah, all of that. It's a lot. It's a lot for anybody. But ultimately, it is to find the the human and the divine in us all. I'm going to finish with this beautiful card. And this is an ammonite shell. And this came to me quite early on, the ammonite. And I'll speak about that one day when I do my crystal videos. You know, my content, it all connects, you know. So one day I'll do readings. It's all to do with spiritual awakening, twin flame path, this journey, finding our true selves, our healing. The crystals that I speak of, they're all connected also. The light language of the Reiki is all connected, you know. It's all about spiritual truth, you know, and about walking this path myself and sharing my story to help others. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there on this beautiful card. But always, you know, come back to yourself. Take that time out, meditate, ground. Yeah, definitely ground. I'm going to ground now. I shall speak to you all soon.